7. The Merciful. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Matthew 5:7. The merciful, eleimon, are those who show mercy in all their being. The word comes from mercy, eleos, meaning compassion or pity, and it is very closely related to grace. This Greek word, however, has a very different content in the New Testament. It is a word, eleos, used almost 400 times in the Septuagint, almost every time to translate the Hebrew hesed. Hesed, kesed, means piety, beauty, favour, loving-kindness, mercy, pity, and more. H.S. Esser is to the point, quote, "These Hebrew concepts betray a completely different background of thought from the predominantly psychological one in Greek. They are based on legal concepts," end quote. It has reference to covenant behaviour. It is essentially an attribute of our covenant God. When we manifest mercy, we are manifesting an aspect of the grace and law of the covenant. Quote, "As a human quality, chesed represents reciprocal kindness or, quote, loyal kindness," end quote, end quote. Lester J. Cooper has pointed out that this mercy is not an outburst of unlooked-for mercy, nor an arbitrary exercise as Pilate's release of Barabbas, but an act within a covenant fellowship or family circle. Covenant sanctification means separation for faithful and loyal service. It is inseparable from grace and truth. E.M. Good defined hesed as kindness, loyalty, Proverbs 3:3, Proverbs 19:22. The word is not humanistic. It is theological and God-centered, although it is socially manifested. It is reference to covenant relationships of man to man, friend to friend, people and leader, slaves and masters, neighbour to neighbour, of covenant man to strangers, the poor and the unfortunate. Biblical society is a covenantal society, and men live in covenant one with another. They do not, like Pilate, wash their hands of responsibility one to another. The biblical commandment to love one another is set in the context of a covenant relationship and mercy. The modern definition of mercy is in effect to show humanity. The merciful are humanitarians. This is in direct contradiction to the biblical meaning. The merciful are the holy ones. A merciful man is a covenant man. At this point, E.R. Archtmeyer, who at times reflects a humanistic emphasis, is correct in stating, quote, "Mercy given to man was homage rendered to the Lord," end quote. It was and is grace shown by those who have received grace, and mercy shown by those who have received mercy. Mercy, in this sense, is the manifestation of covenant faith and life. In paganism, man's relationship with the gods is transactional. Man buys services, protection, and alliance in return for certain considerations. The contract is between a god and a man or a group of men for the mutual exchange of services. Because the God of Scripture enters into a covenant of total grace with man, the covenant is both grace and mercy. The law of the covenant is totally God's law because all the initiative and grace in the covenant come from God. For man to add to the law is to insist that he can contribute in some creative sense to the covenant peace. This is blasphemy. Man is summoned to obedience or faithfulness. As God is merciful to him, he must be merciful to others. Hence, our Lord says, "It is the merciful who gain mercy," Matthew 5:7. They gain mercy in judgment. They manifest that they are truly of the covenant, not merely outwardly so. Having received grace, they live in grace and proclaim the message of sovereign grace. As Maclaren saw it, quote, "Our exercise of mercy is the condition of our receiving it. On the whole, the world gives us back as a mirror does, the reflection of our own faces, and merciful men generally get what they give. But that is a law with many exceptions, and Jesus means more than that. Merciful men get mercy from God, not, of course, that we deserve mercy by being merciful. That is a contradiction in terms, for mercy is precisely that which we do not deserve. The place of mercy in this series shows that Jesus regarded it as the consequence, not the cause of our experience of God's mercy. But he teaches over and over again that a hard, unmerciful heart forfeits the divine mercy. End quote. In his analysis of Hesed as human conduct, Gluck showed its meaning to be an attitude or activity, quote, received or shown only by those among whom a definite relationship exists, end quote. He saw Hesed existing between 6 kinds of relationships. 1. Relatives by blood or marriage, or by tribe or clan. 2. Host and guest. 3. Allies and their relatives. 4. Friends. 5. Ruler and subject. 6. Those who render aid, and the persons whom the aid places under obligation. End quote. In all these situations, there is a mutuality of rights and duties and a governing concept of reciprocity. It is in this sense that Abraham uses Hesed in Genesis 20:13, quote, this is thy kindness, Hesed, which thou shalt show unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, he is my brother. End quote. Loyalty and duty are involved in mercy. The same word appears in Ruth 3:10 when Boaz praises Ruth for her covenant loyalty in fulfilling the obligations of a Hebrew widow. Quote, blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. End quote. Hesed, or mercy, is basic to all covenants, human and divine. Because it is covenantal, mercy is not antinomian, it is an aspect of a legal tie. To say so is to strike modern man as being cold and unloving. Such a view of law is intensely anti-biblical and thoroughly modern. For us, the law means a cold, impersonal, and power-hungry state. It means taxation, oppression, and bureaucratic nightmares. In terms of Scripture, this is not so. Only for the ungodly, those in rebellion against God, and with the law setting forth a death sentence against them, is law a hostile fact. For Scripture, law is Torah, instruction, God's instruction. It is the mark of a covenant, of a relationship of love. Law has reference to God and the family, to friends, relatives, and fellow believers. It is an aspect of the tie that binds our hearts in love. An aspect of that covenant is mercy. It is the kindness, reciprocal obligation, and love which family members show one to another. Where outsiders are concerned, it manifests our own covenant life. We witness to the covenant grace, law, and life by our mercy. Because God is merciful to his covenant people, we witness to our covenant Lord by our mercy. Because of our covenant faithfulness, we can appeal to God for his covenant mercy. Nehemiah 13:22. Mercy rests in grace. Only those who have received grace can manifest covenantal mercies to others.